your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Jeff mentioned in the Sports Center, we'll have high school football on the air for you tonight. Among the games will be Lubbock High and Monterey, and we'll have the Monterey broadcast for you on 93.7 The Eagle beginning at 6:30 from Lowry Field. The Spurs game, Jamie, is tonight, and this is the 67th year for the, quote, Battle of the Spurs that has been, I'd use the word dominate. I'm not sure that's a strong enough adjective for Monterey.
67 years?
67 years.
What's the record?
55, 10, and 1. Monterey has won 14 straight, including a forfeit that they received in 2020 because of COVID. I think the Lubbock High kids didn't have enough to field, and so they forfeited that game.
Yeah, I think dominance is a good word.
Yeah,
I don't know what else you would go with.
I don't know, but I mean, it's
been a landslide.
Yeah,
Monterey
all those things. Here's the thing: if you go to the game tonight, it could be a quick game because Monterey loves to run the football. Last week, they had a young man, Des Williams, 18 totes, 169 yards. Deuce Moore ran for 91 yards. And then Kyrie Baxter ran for 132 yards. That's an awful lot of rushing. Okay. Coach Judd Thrash yesterday saying that their offensive line played well. Yes, they played well. He said he thought it was their best game last week, had no turnovers, and they lived and died by the blitz last week. And he said that we're best defensively when we move. So, I'm not saying that they're going to blitz tonight against Lubbock High, but who knows? They may do some of that. Juan Rodriguez, the coach of Lubbock High School, said that Monterey's playing hard, played their best game, fundamentally sound, can run and throw. They can throw the ball. And he said for Lubbock High, we're just trying to get better at doing what we do. I think it's going to be a long night for them. We'll see. Also,
would love to see that highly competitive.
Yes, I agree. That would make it a lot more fun. Liberty will be in action as well tonight. We'll have that for you on 93.1 Yes FM. They will be up in Borger for that game. And then also tonight, Cooper and Abilene Cooper. It's a homecoming affair tonight for the Lubbock Cooper Pirates, and that's a 6:30 game. So it'll be I'm assuming a long halftime unless they do those festivities beforehand. It's been a while since I've been to a homecoming game, so we're going to go tonight with the Phenoms and their parents. So
just don't count on that countdown clock at halftime.
Yeah, right.
For stopping, and then immediately a kickoff comes.
Right, I know, right.
My favorite is when you go to those things and
they stop it.
I've seen this both at the high school and the junior college level. It gets to about 2 minutes, and then they just stop it.
Yes, right. And then there's another 10, 15 minutes.
And then there's 20 more minutes.
Yes, exactly.
Of kick lines and drill teams and... Yeah, we don't have drill teams in West Texas, but in East Texas, it was all about the drill teams.
We had a drill team.
Yeah.
At our high school, they were good.
Band. We don't want to leave out the band.
Yeah.
Band. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't forget the band. Also tonight, we'll have the high school scoreboard show, and Midland and Friendship will play tonight over at Friendship. So.
Oh, yeah, by the way, the one we have on our station.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Well, we have a lot on our stations.
Sure.
Yeah. I feel like
but the one we're currently talking on.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like I was just trying to, give some highlights of what...
Nothing wrong with any of that.
Okay.
It was just and Friendship plays too.
And Coronado's in action tonight as well, and we'll have that game for you on 96.9 The Bull. They are... To say they're struggling is That's probably not a strong enough adjective for Coronado, because their coach, let's see, they play at Abilene tonight. He said their coach last week, he said, we failed at dealing with adversity.
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah, failed at dealing with adversity. He described Abilene as very explosive. Get this, Jamie. They have 20 explosive touchdowns, Abilene does. And explosive is defined as a touchdown over 25 yards.
How many? 20?
20.
And how many games?
6.
6? Wow, that's impressive.
I think so, too. I think so, too. He said that Abilene, though, is not as good as they have been defensively. He said that he feels confident that they can slow them down and put some points on the board. So we'll see how that works for them tonight when they play there at Abilene. Also, by the way, Idalou has a bye week this week, and I think they could use it because they've lost the last 2 weeks. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a rundown on that. And then tomorrow morning, we'll have the Saturday morning quarterback on the air for you from 7 to 9, and those guys will give you all those scores and more, plus generally a lot of stuff that you need to know, little tidbits. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Jordan says this: it's all about the pep squad, not the drill team here in Texas, which is just jazzed up cheerleaders.
Yeah, it's funny how just the opposite sides of the state. Mm-hmm. It's massive out there. The junior college level with the Kilgore Rangerettes and the Tyler Junior College Apache Bells that are
Apache Bells.
Both of them are, they travel around the country and they're in Macy's Day parades and all that kind of stuff. But the high schools all do that kind of stuff. My wife she was on the drill team at White House.
At White House, okay.
Patrick's school, and what they work what the drill team there is called.
What's that?
The First Ladies.
The First Ladies,
because it's White House.
Yeah.
You get that? You get that, Chuck?
Yeah. Yeah, First Ladies. I got that. Yeah, First Ladies. I guess I'm wrong on Liberty. Thanks for the text on the text line. I thought I was right on this. I guess I've been wrong.
What's that?
The Liberty game. I have them playing Borger, but I think that's. I think
it says Perryton, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just couldn't. To be honest with you, I
couldn't read it.
I couldn't read it. I was.
Jeff. Anytime somebody wants to take the job away from me, I will hand them the markers happily.
Okay. In fairness to me, on the Max Preps deal, I just need to scratch this out. They had 10-11 at Borger and 10-11 hosting Perryton. So I'll just it's my bad for not knowing. But yes, thank you, Texter. They host Perryton tonight over at their place. That makes a heck of a lot more sense because they played so many road games. Liberty has because not opening their stadium, not having their stadium available. Yeah. So that we'll have that game for you on 93.1 Yes FM tonight, 6:30 between Liberty and Perryton. Okay.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I have time for this day in sports history. Today is October 11th, 2024. Here's Jeff McGuire.
1927. New York Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig is named the American League MVP. Shocking to some now since, Babe Ruth hit 60 home runs that year.
Yes.
But as a previous MVP winner, he was not eligible in 27. You couldn't win it back-to-back years.
Wow.
Really?
Well, how about that little note there? That was fascinating.
It's like I put that in here for a reason.
What year did they stop doing that, Jeff?
That I do not know. I want to say in the 40s because I think we had some back-to-backs in the 40s. 1967, World Series record 3 consecutive home runs hit by Carl Yastrzemski, Reggie Smith, and Rico Petrocelli. No way I got that.
Rico Petrocelli.
See, I know I didn't get that right. As the Boston Red Sox beat the St. Louis Cardinals 8-4 in Game 6 at Fenway Park. Hit the fast forward button to 1980. Dallas Mavericks open up their debut NBA season with a 103-92 victory against in-state rivals the San Antonio Spurs at Reunion Arena.
How could it be an in-state rivalry if that was their first game?
Everybody in-state's a rivalry, whether you've played a game or not.
Thinking that when you say in-state rival, it just infers that you're both in the same state. I don't think it's really talking about long tradition of playing each other. Okay. I think just when you use it in that way, when you put in-state in front of it, it's just like saying in-state matchup.
Okay. Right.
I think your point is fair because they've never played. Yes, they've never played. How can they be rivals?
They might have loved each other for all we know.
But I think when you put in-state in front of it, it just means that they're two teams from the same state, so they want to beat each other.
Crosstown rivals, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
If Liberty plays anybody in Lubbock this year, that's a rivalry game.
Yeah, I mean, if Liberty and Cooper play each other, you don't think that's going to be inter-city rival?
Down the street rivalry.
Yeah.
1992. Deion Sanders plays for the Atlanta Falcons in Miami and then flies to Pittsburgh, hoping to play for the Atlanta Braves and become the very first athlete to play in two pro sports on the same day. However, Braves manager Bobby Cox does not let him play. So the only guy that could slow down Deion was Bobby Cox. 2008. Michael Crabtree has 2 touchdowns, and after number 7, Texas Tech misses an overtime extra point, Jamar Wall's interception saves the 37-31 win over Nebraska.
I nearly, I don't want to use too gross of a term, but vomited. Literally made me sick to my stomach when that extra point was missed. And all I knew was we are about to lose our undefeated season because of an extra point. Because we can't make extra points. It made me nauseous. And then Jamar Wall saved the day.
Thank you, Jamar Wall.
And I didn't have to get any Pepto or anything.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Tums.
Or a new TV.
Tums. No, I was actually calling a JUCO football game at the time, but it was one of those deals where I was listening to the Tech game in my earbud while I was doing sidelines for a junior college football game.
Well, you got some excited holding calls there, didn't you? There's a holding! Yes! Sorry. Wrong game.
Okay.
And then... yes.
And in 2020... NBA Finals, because the whole COVID thing, everybody had to take a break for a while. LA Lakers beat the Miami Heat.
It wasn't COVID that they took a break.
Well, no, not all of it. Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Miami Heat 106-93 in Game 6 to win a record equaling 17th NBA title. LeBron James is the MVP. He's the first to be awarded it with 3 different teams. Happy National Sausage Pizza Day.
Oh, man, I was really disappointed in myself that I ate the cold pizza for lunch yesterday, because that would have been really good for breakfast this morning.
Never really a bad time for pizza.
No, there's never a bad time for pizza.
Happy birthday to Matt Bonner, who's 47. TJ Watt is 30. Joan Kuzak is 62. Steve Young, 63. Terrell Suggs is 42. And Orlando Hernandez is 59, we think.
We think.
It's El Duque. We're not really sure.
And El Duque is the one that actually came over on a raft, right?
Yes.
Is that right, Chuck?
I think that's right.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
And on this day
Can't make this stuff up.
We can try.
On this day, 1971, it sees the release of John Lennon's Imagine, one of the most influential songs of the 20th century.
Says who?
Pretty much everybody but you.
It says
everybody but you.
Says
really.
Who?
He began writing the song while still a member of the Beatles, at the time when the band had achieved their unprecedented popularity, but struggled to cope with their new reality. The song's idealistic, utopian lyrics were heavily influenced by Lennon's wife, conceptual artist Yoko Ono. He would later assert that the lyric and concept were straight out of Grapefruit, a book of poetry by Ono, and she officially received a joint writing credit in 2017. And that is this day in sports history.
6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. That little identifier means it's time for our lucky local winning word for the day. Your opportunity to win some cash from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone, where they make your house a home every single day over at 50th in Indiana, but Sunday. You can go to doublet97.3.com and get signed up to win. We have a really good word this morning for our lucky local winning word. You could win some cash like Megan Taylor did yesterday and Yvonne Perez did on Wednesday. Okay? So all you have to do is go to doublet973.com, enter this word, and you could get a phone call today saying, hey, you won $250 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone. Your lucky local winning word this morning at 6:52 is Cowboys, as in the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys will be in action on Sunday afternoon. They take on the Detroit Tigers. Some say Detroit. I say Detroit.
Boy, I really like their chances to win that game. Since the Dallas Cowboys are playing football and the Tigers are playing baseball.
Okay. How does that?
If they're taking on the Lions, then it might be an actual football game.
What did I say? Yeah, the Lions. Did I say
You
the
said Tigers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
The sports are crossing over.
They are.
They're both in action.
They do take on the Detroit Lions. They're not. The Tigers aren't going to come over and play intramural football against
I'd
them.
like their chance. I would pick the Cowboys there.
I don't know. I think
Cowboys is your lucky local winning word this morning here at 6:51.
I think Chase Young would be a pretty good downhill free safety. I think he would lay the wood on somebody. Man, Chuck really got up frustrated about your John Lennon.
Oh, I just,
It's such a great song.
just get tired of that.
Tired of what?
The Beatles stuff.
Well, this was John Lennon, not the Beatles.
How much do we talk about the
John
Beatles?
Lennon is the Beatles.
He's one member of the four, and this is when he was with the solo career.
Yeah. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Do you think there will be another person who goes pro in two sports at the same time again? I want to think there will be. I agree. I think there will be at some point in time.
Doubt it. Because you got to focus so much now just to even crack a list.
I don't know. I don't know. That's tough to say.
This has a chance to be the text of the day. I've always known I listen a little too much to sports talk, but last night proved it at the Lainey Wilson concert. I think it's I don't know if it's a guy or a gal. Anyway, that person was in town yesterday singing. I kept saying her name like Jamie and Hacks did on the Kurt Wilson play a few years ago. Then I had to explain it to my husband.
Lainey Wilson.
Then she had to explain it to her husband. Usually it's the other way around.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Awesome.
I love that. The text of the day. You'll have to work to top that one.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, Brian Jensen gets to rest his voice this week. So does John Harris, Chris Level, the rest of the Texas Tech football crew and the game day crew as well. We'll have Saturday morning quarterback on the air for you tomorrow morning. They'll recap all the high school games for tonight. That'll be at 7 tomorrow morning here on Double T 97.3. All right, Big 12 football this weekend, Jamie. I want you to think of this in mind of how this can help Texas Tech. Okay, so in terms of not necessarily who you think will win, but who you want to win so that could help the Red Raiders kind of moving down the pike a little bit. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you have Utah and Arizona State playing tonight. Utah is ranked 16th in the country. They're 4-1. Arizona State is 4-1, and that loss is to Texas Tech. Thoughts on this game? And this is tonight, by the way. This game is this evening. It'll be a 9:30 kick, our time. Craziness.
Gosh.
Yeah, I won't see the end of that one.
Yeah. Next Friday night, it's BYU hosting Oklahoma State, and that's another late one, too. I think it would be better for the Red Raiders if Utah lost.
I agree.
Yeah. Do we have any idea if Cam Rising is back?
He was practicing.
He was practicing.
Yeah, I heard that report that he was practicing.
Okay.
So they're 1-1 in the Big 12, and so is Arizona State. So I agree with you. I think it's better if Arizona State wins this game. What do you think the likelihood of that is, though?
If Cam Rising's playing, I don't think it's very likely.
Yeah, I think you're probably. This game is.
But I think it'll be a decent game.
This game's in Tempe.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be a decent game.
Yeah, and I think they've shown that they're better than what we thought. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cincinnati and UCF play tomorrow, and this game is going to take place. The Big 12 announced that last night. Based on the weather and everything they said, quote, deep discussions. But apparently everything's okie dokie, at least to be able to play football to a degree, to this degree, a Big 12 game in Orlando at UCF. So Cincinnati and UCF, neither one are really a threat, right, at this point in time? For the Big 12?
UCF has just looked so bad the last couple of weeks. And this one's really interesting to see if they're a team that's can get themselves up off the mat and turn things around. I would favor UCF, to win this game, but they're a 3-point favorite. But man, I'm just not sure what this UCF team is about right now.
Based on what we saw with Cincinnati here and their quarterback and their offense and things along those lines, and not just fully examining their schedule moving forward, I think I want to see Cincinnati lose. Their next game will be at Colorado. They have West Virginia. They're at Iowa State. They're at K-State. They had a really tough schedule. 3 really tough road games left for them, and then finish up with TCU. As far as UCF is concerned, Central Florida will, after this week, they will play at Iowa State. They have BYU at home, Arizona at home, at Arizona State, at West Virginia, and Utah at home. So they've got a pretty tough schedule as well down the stretch. Okay. Iowa State and West Virginia. This is an intriguing one. Iowa State is undefeated, 5-0. West Virginia is 3-2 on the season. This game is in Morgantown. It's at night. It's a 7:00 kickoff.
Yeah, this one is really intriguing. I think that right now I would favor Iowa State as the best team, or I would name them as the best team in the conference. But not easy place to play, right? And so this one is going to be a dogfight, in my opinion. That West Virginia knows what's on the line here. I mean, they're only 3-2 overall, but they're 2-0 in Big 12 play, and they know that if they win this game, West Virginia can really, really start talking about, man, we had a good spot, a good chance to get to that Big 12 championship game. So this is a home game at night, man. You just can't afford to lose that if you're West Virginia, right?
No.
This is your chance. This is your shot.
So they host K-State next week. They're at Arizona the following week, then a bye week at Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, and then here in Lubbock to close out the season on November 30th. So it's not just easy for them. For Iowa State, next they're at they host UCF next. Then they host Texas Tech. Then they play at Kansas, Cincinnati, at Utah, and finish with Kansas State. Their last 2 games are really tough, and obviously the home game that they'll face with the Red Raiders is going to be, I think, challenging for them. Hope it is. It should be. You've shown that you can play well there. I don't know what the weather's going to be like the first Saturday in November, but man, still feels like summer here. So not too generally concerned about that.
I was going to say it's a ways from Ames from here, though.
It is, right. It's due north. Kansas.
Well, my dad has joked many times that the only thing between Lubbock, Texas, and the North Pole is a barbed wire fence. Ames is still between the two.
It's in between, yeah.
The other game, and this is a doozy. Number 18, Kansas State at Colorado. Okay, so take your Colorado hate out of your brain just for a moment, or your Deion Sanders hate out of your brain for a moment. Which team would be better to lose, the 2-0 Buffaloes, who are 4-1 overall, or 1-1 Kansas State? They're ranked 18th and they're 4-1 overall.
I think the 2-0 team
would be the teteam to lose.
Yeah, that's who you want to lose, Colorado.
See if you can get a little steam out of their engine.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kansas State is the bigger threat, though. Yeah.
To a Texas Tech or anybody in the Big 12.
To anybody in the Big 12.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, but I refuse to take my Colorado hate out.
Okay. K-State's
it's been a long time building that up.
Yeah.
K-State next week is at West Virginia. Then they'll host a very struggling Kansas. They'll be at Houston. So, man, 2 of the next 3 games for them are easy peasy. They'll play Arizona State at home, Cincinnati at home, and then they finish at Iowa State. That K-State-Iowa State game could be for a berth in the Big 12 title game, Jamie.
Yeah, it'll definitely play a factor. Yeah, no, be a factor in it, no doubt. Any particular reason why you skipped what I think is the best game in the conference this week? Arizona at BYU?
I was going to get to it. Well, I thought.
Well, you were going in order of what
I was
time
going in order.
Kickoffs,
yeah.
and
I did accidentally.
You did say only other game is K-State, Colorado.
I did miss that. So thank you.
Yeah,
that was my bad.
That's the one that's the most interesting to me.
Okay, so
because I do think Arizona's a good football team. I I don't think the Red Raiders beat a patsy last week. And, I mean, we'll find out what BYU's about, a little bit about here. I mean, they're already now inside the top 15.
Yeah.
Still undefeated.
5-0.
Yeah. This is a fun one to me.
And their coach was rumored to be on the hot seat. He ain't now. They'll host Oklahoma State next week. They'll go across the country to Orlando the following week, the week of the 26th. And then they play at Utah, Holy War there. And then they have Kansas at Arizona State, and they finish with Houston. So, for them, that last game of the season, if somebody's playing for a berth there in the Big 12, which you think that's kind of where we are right now, it sure seems like that last Saturday is going to be really important.
Yeah.
For multiple teams.
Yeah.
Multiple teams.
Well, and that's because you have a conference that looks like it's going to be tied together and tight, and it looks like that it's anybody's to win.
Yeah, you got a little parity going on here, which is not a bad thing. For Colorado, after this game at home with Kansas State, they'll play at Arizona, Cincinnati. They host. They come here to Lubbock on November the 9th. They play Utah at Kansas and Oklahoma State. So their last 2 weeks maybe are a little bit less challenging for them. But
I just wish Oklahoma State was playing this week. I think they are one loss away from folding up the tent.
Who?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
I think they're one loss away from just being. We're done. We've got nothing for this season.
Next week they're at BYU, then they're at Baylor, then they host Arizona State, then at TCU. So 3 of their next 4 are on the road. And then they finish at Colorado. So, yeah, it's hard to see them being a factor unless they're going to be a spoiler. All right, Jamie's question of the day is next.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, so just based on an earlier conversation we had today, it's the bye week, so we've hit football really hard. This can be a football answer too, though.
Okay.
I'm going to go a little outside the box today.
I like that.
Okay. I'm telling you that you can go back in time, and you already know the outcomes already. Go back in time and either, for the first time, go to or relive a game. I'm going to tell you, you get 2 choices. You get 2 picks. 2 Texas Tech sporting events that you want to go back and relive. Go to the game, and even though you know what's going to happen, you can't tell anybody. You just want to experience it, almost to be like a fly on the wall, just to experience it again. 2 games you get to go back and experience. Which ones would you choose? Any sport, any moment.
Fly on the wall.
Why did Jeff leave?
I don't know.
Guess you're going first.
Okay. Fly on the wall.
I just don't want you yelling to everybody, here's what's going to happen next. Look for Crabtree. I worry that you would not be able to zip it.
Okay.
You got to experience the moment for what it really truly is.
Okay. This will stun you and surprise you, and it will mean nothing to nobody but me. I think the year was 2002. It was my birthday it was either my birthday on Friday or Saturday. We were playing at Baylor. Our daughter was in the Palm Squad at that point in time, and I just had been working so much that I was just literally, I felt like I was too tired to drive, and I have regretted that. So I would go back to that game.
Oh, to that game. Okay.
I would go back to that game.
So you didn't go.
I didn't go because we were I think we had a lot going on. Probably our youngest was in high school at the time. She may have had something going on. If you were to ask me, that's a regret that I have, that I would go back in time and go, okay, I'm gonna undo that one. Okay, I'm gonna undo that one. So that's a little bizarre for you. And then one that I would love to relive again.
Did Tech win the game? What year was it?
2000. I think we did. It was 2000. I believe it was 2002.
I surely would not want to go and relive a game we lost.
But really, it was more. It was really about more seeing her on the road. That was really what it was. It was really. I mean, shockingly, Jamie, was about something family related. I mean, so it's anyway. The other one. Man, I really enjoyed that 70-10 Texas Tech Nebraska win. I enjoyed calling my buddies who were at the KU game and listening to the KU crowd cheer every time my buddies go, "Hey, Texas Tech is winning 29-3," and then you hear this roar from Lawrence in my cell phone. I enjoyed standing in my seat there on the east side and screaming at Dr. Tom. I think that game. I enjoyed that game. 70-10 Texas Tech over Nebraska.
I think those were definitely two answers I didn't expect.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeff?
So, off the chat line is a really good answer of the Women's National Championship game.
Sure.
That should be on my list, but it's not. I want to go back to 2006 bowl win against Minnesota. Knowing of the comeback win and knowing that it was going to be okay to be at the bowl game, be one of the Tech fans that stuck through it. You're sitting there, you're going, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's just going to get better. That would be cool because anybody who watched the first half of that game didn't think it was ever going to get better. That Minnesota was going to quit throwing to their tight end all of a sudden, which is really kind of what happened, which is why he got fired. The offensive coordinator got fired after the game.
My brother-in-law left that game. He was at that game, left that game, went to a bar there in Phoenix and was watching on some crappy TV with a bunch of it wasn't 2002, it might have been 2001. Anyway, with a bunch of Minnesota fans who thought they had the game won.
Yeah, like that, knowing that experience is coming, and you get to be in the stadium to enjoy it. I wish I could go do that. Plus, I don't get to go to many games, so oddly enough, both of these are on the road, and they're both in the postseason. The second one would be the 2016 win in Omaha over Florida. To be there with the relay and the tag at second, and to get that first win, and there aren't many firsts for a program. Mm-hmm. And while I listened to it and I watched it, I wish I could have been there.
Yeah. No relay, just Tyler straight to Michael. Just an absolute BB he threw to him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no relay. Okay, those were good ones. Those were good answers, I think. For me, I'm going the Zach Thomas interception. I've told you guys before. Mm-hmm. I came to Texas Tech and was, hey, let's go to the football game. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. That was the moment where I became obsessed with Texas Tech athletics. Okay. I mean, that was one of the coolest moments I can ever remember, and also remember just having a blast that night. And so it was just a fun day as a student and just feeling like, man, this is so much fun. What time do we play next Saturday? And suddenly it was, okay, let's get in line 3 hours early to make sure we have good seats for next Saturday. Mm-hmm. Whereas before it was just, hey, this is cool, let's go. But it changed me. That was where my diehard Red Raider fandom started that day.
And I share a similar story.
I don't even think I knew to hate the Aggies that much at that point.
Right. Right. No, I'm with you.
How could East Texas? That's Aggie.
Well, I mean, part of the reason that I came to Tech was because everybody in East Texas is like, you go to A&M or you go to Texas, and I'm like, I am not going to either one of those places. Let me find someplace else. All right, my second answer is Coral Gables. That Monday afternoon, you lose the first game and don't advance, and then you win the second game. I just remember, being surprised and all the above. It was just the game itself was so much fun. And then afterwards, just being with the team. I mean, there's a picture of me doing an interview with Tadlock sitting on the dugout bench where, like, I don't know, it's just really, really, like, I got my legs crossed. It looks just like we're all just, like, so incredibly relaxed and having fun. It was just a really fun day. Such a surprise to me that Tech won that second game. So that would be my second one. I'd love to relive.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. I think we've had a pretty spirited week this week.
Many spirits.
I would give us, I think I'd give us an A- this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, speaking of grading.
Do you want me to do a grading story for the website on the morning drive?
Sure, I think that'd be great, yeah. We could get Bullfighter to write it or somebody like that.
Yes, that'd be perfect.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Bullfighter, to give us a grade for the week. By the way, we did that. We graded some position groups and things like that. You can go to doublet973.com and see how everybody's opinion was on, the quarterbacks and offensive line and running backs and special teams. I thought,
who deserves the highest grade?
Oh, I think the special teams. I gave them an A+.
Man, I did not. I knocked it down a peg because...
You gave it a B+, is that right?
Yeah, because you're just not getting much in the return game anymore. You put the ball on the turf, punt returns, and with everybody avoiding Dre McCray, you're not doing much in the return game. Kicking has been terrific, no question. They definitely deserve an A+.
Well, I mean, it was special teams. I mean, you blocked a kick that helped you win a game.
That's a good point.
The punt against Cincinnati, I think, was the unsung play of the game.
That's another good one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you've made every kick that you could. You're kicking the ball out of the end zone. Haven't had any stupid pooch kicks. A+. But
haven't kicked the ball out of bounds on kickoff.
Haven't kicked the ball out of bounds on kickoff.
Been a benefit of it once, though.
Collier gave him a B-.
Okay. Again, I thought...
It's like, what game are you watching, man?
You just haven't been able to do much in the return game, and you fumbled in the return game.
One time.
Okay.
Let's see here. Okay, Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. Lions are 3-1 coming off of a bye.
I think you fumbled another time. You just happened to recover it the other time. That's why you've made a change with the return man.
Yeah. Lions are 3-1. Cowboys are 3-2. Both teams coming off of wins over Pittsburgh. The Lions they're coming off a win off of the Seahawks. They beat the Seahawks 42-29 on September 30th. The Cowboys beat the Steelers on Sunday night 20-17. I think this is a really tough game for the Cowboys. The Lions, if you just kind of look at things in the rankings, their offense is 3rd overall. They're 6th in rushing, 7th in passing, 7th in scoring.
Feels like you're going to need to score a bunch. Your offense is going to need to click if you're going to keep up with the Lions' offense.
The Cowboys' offense is 12th overall, 31st in rushing. That's terrible. I mean, there's only one team worse. They're 2nd in passing. They're 15th in scoring. The thing is you scroll down to the bottom. So last year when these two teams played, Cowboys won. There was the 2-point conversion that Detroit had that was incorrectly disallowed with 23 seconds left, and a 1-point loss at Dallas in Week 17. Loss cost the Lions a shot at the top seed in the NFC, and they lost at San Francisco in the conference championship game. Lions have won 3 of their first 4 games in consecutive years for the first time since 2013-14. The other thing is, CeeDee Lamb, the big stud wide receiver that you gave all that money to, has yet to have a 100-yard game. Last time these two teams played, 227 yards.
That's a big day.
Tied his career high. With 13 catches. He also had a touchdown in that game. CeeDee Lamb has 150 yards in this game. The Cowboys will probably win. But, you're not going to have... I don't like your chance. I mean, you don't have Micah... You're not going to have Micah Parsons. If you won this game, then you'd be like, oh, okay, maybe the Cowboys have something here. I just don't see it happening, though. I mean, Rico Dowdle is your lead running back now, because Zeke just looks like, man, he looks like he is done. He looks like he is running in syrup.
I mean, it's accurate.
That's a bad day.
He looks like a running back who's been the lead running back for a team at the end of his career.
Such a great description, Chuck. Well done.
Thank you.
Man, I hope you don't have your new Under Armour shoes on.
Jared Goff was 18 for 18 in his last game. That's pretty good.
It's all right.
Yeah. Going back to the previous week before that, he's 19 for 19. Do you know the NFL record is 25? Nick Foles, Marcus Mariota, Phillip Rivers, and Ryan Tannehill. If you'd asked me who has the NFL record for completions, I don't know that I would have said any of those names.
Definitely not Marcus Mariota.
Nope.
Tannehill.
Phillip Rivers, Nick Foles. I just that those wouldn't have been the guys that was just like rolled off the old tongue. Dak Prescott potentially could have a big day.
Potentially.
Well, because the pass defense for the Detroit's not very good.
Okay, so that's
but he's
beneficial.
How about this, Dak? Hang on to the football. Quit throwing it to the other team and then giving it to the other team. He bristled yesterday because, with all this new money that he's got, he bought this mansion out in the middle of nowhere in Dallas and then tore it down. I mean, like this multi-million-dollar house, just tore it down. He's got a football field next to it, and they showed an overhead shot, TMZ or somebody. They just tore it down. They're going to build a new one because they can. Okay, because they can.
I mean, he's got a right to do whatever he wants.
He's got a right to do whatever, but
he wanted the property. He didn't want the house.
Yeah, but he's lived in the house for a little while. His new girl, whom he has a daughter with, they probably want make their own memories, right? Anyway,
not make their own house.
Make their own house. Make their own house a home. Okay. And anyway, he bristled when somebody asked him about it. He's like, "I thought we were talking football," which that's fair. That's fair because it's like, hey, none of your friggin' business what I'm doing with my house, right?
Man, yeah, I would hate to be those guys that have to deal with those kind of questions all the time.
Yeah.
It'd be tough.
What's up with your house, man? Why'd you demolish it so you could build a new one?
You know what I would say to that?
Because I want a bowling alley in my new house, and this one didn't have it.
You know what I would say, right?
What?
That's an ender.
That's an ender.
Some of the Dallas media would laugh hilariously loud.
Yes.
The other half would be like, what's he talking about?
What's he talking about?
Yeah, the young ones, but the ones that have been around the block would be like, oh, Jamie's channeling his inner Chan Gailey.
Yeah.
And then someone's going to ask, who's Chan Gailey?
You know what's crazy? The Cowboys are 3-2, and they've lost 3 consecutive home games going back to the wild card loss to Green Bay in January, and the first 2 at home this year.
Yeah. It is crazy.
I don't know. I'm not feeling too good about this game. Here's the other thing. Here's another note for you. You'll see this on the broadcast on Sunday, or maybe Brad Sham will bring it up on Double T 97.3. He probably will. Brandon Aubrey, your kicker, has had a kick of 50 yards or more in 7 consecutive games.
Okay.
That, Jamie, is an NFL record.
Awesome.
Okay.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
No, you're settling for 3s instead of 7s. That's terrible.
Offense can't get past the 40, so we got to kick a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Because you got no run game.
Thank
and your
God for
quarterback
him.
can't be trusted not to throw it to the other team.
Right. There we go. Here's the Cowboy fan coming out.
This is the second time it's been mentioned. You did it the first time.
We'll make predictions next, and yes, this game will be on the list. I also have one that you get your choice of to pick a game, because I think one game you're going to be really irritated, and you're like, nah, I'd rather pick the other game. Okay, so
Isn't Jeremy irritated by all the picks we have to make?
No. Sometimes we miss the obvious games that we should be picking.
Well, we'll see if
we don't always do a great job of that. We could be better. We're all out to improve.
We when you say me, meaning me.
Well, I mean, I could make suggestions that I don't, so I could help.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.